Hello and welcome to Drawing with Steppy. Today we're going to do a werewolf. Unlike the other video where that was just a portrait, this is going to be the whole animal. So we're going to go ahead and switch to our other page here. And as I've said before, you do not have to use a digital program to do this. I just find it easier, and it makes it easier for the tutorials because you guys can see the digital drawing way easier than you can when I use a pencil. But if you use a pencil, just draw lightly. I do recommend using cardstock paper if you're going to use real media. Works a lot better. I'm going to turn my sheet of paper around a little bit so we have more room. There we go. Since he's going to be standing up. And again, this time the werewolf is going to be more wolf-looking than Wolfman like in the old movies, but I'll do one of those later. I'm going to start with just some circles, and again, I like building up the character or the figure using shapes. Makes it easier. And again, you'd want to draw very lightly, not as dark as I am, because I'm using digital, and I can manipulate how dark it is with the opacity toggles. And werewolves kind of like to hunch over, so I'm going to have him kind of hunched. And I think I'm going to move his head. Move it right there. It's the other reason I really like digital. It's like if you change your mind about something, it's easy to fix. And I'm kind of going to make a hump here, because I like my werewolves to have big, fluffy necks. And I'm drawing these little lines here to decide where I want his legs. And that's another reason why you want to draw lightly, so you can change your mind easily. I'm going to draw a circle there for his bicep. Another circle for his shoulder. Kind of an oval for his arms. Circle for his hands. Another oval-y shape. Lots of ovals. Circles for his knees, kind of ovals for his calf muscles, kind of some rectangle shapes here for his legs. And we're going to add in a tail because I like my werewolves to have tails. Alrighty, that's the basic there. And I'm going to turn it around because I like flipping my images, helps me figure out what needs to be changed. I think I'm going to move his leg a little bit here. Move it in a little bit more. I'm going to tilt it. There we go. So see, when you're drawing, it's okay to make mistakes. When I'm sketching for myself, I do a lot of, altering as I go along. His arm here seems a little long, but that's okay because monsters sometimes have kind of strange proportions. So we're going to give him kind of long arms. And I'm going to give him those long ears like before. And I'm going to give him a snout, kind of again rectangle. Alright, that looks good. Alright, and then what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to reduce the opacity of the page. I'm going to move him down here so we can see a little bit more of him. I think I'm going to make him a little bit smaller so he fits more on the page. Alright, and then I'm going to zoom in here so we can start adding some of those details. I'm going to lighten the original sketch a little bit more. And when I've done this on real media, what I tend to do is use tracing paper, or I flip it over and use a kind of a small light table. You can make them, or you can buy them at Michael's real cheap. So let's use slightly dark. Right, and I'm going to come in and start doing some of my details here. I'm going to use the little cross to determine where his face is facing. Add in his nose here. And we're going to make him kind of snarly again because he's supposed to be kind of a monster. And I'm going to add in some big thick eyebrow ridges. Add in some cheekbones. And again, I'm just kind of being messy here because this is not going to be my final pencils. I just want to get the shapes in there right, get the form in there. So it's okay to be messy. His head's looking a little bit big, so I'm going to also make his head a little bit smaller. Add in his ears again. This is why I like to flip it over, because I can more easily see if something doesn't look quite right. So see, I moved his ear up a little higher. And I'm going to make his head a little bit smaller. I'm going to tilt it a little bit more too. Typically a head should be about 3 times the size of the body. You just kind of count. Here, I'll move the head so you see 1, 2, 3. That way, you know, your head doesn't end up too big. Your body doesn't end up too small. Okay. I'm going to add in his neck here. I'm just kind of reshaping how I want things. I'm going to add in his chest. And again, I'm still kind of using shapes instead of just trying to draw the outline. You know, if drawing the outline works for you, that's fine. I just found that this way is easier for me. I like building it up. Put in his little hip muscles here. Some werewolves still have their clothes. I'm not going to give this guy clothes because I'm trying to make this simple and fast. I'm going to move his shoulder down because it's a little bit too high up. I'm going to move his leg down a little bit. Bring his elbow a little bit lower down. One moment. Sorry about that. People knocking on my door. Okay, back to the tutorial. Alright, we're going to finish with this leg here. I'm going to add little toes in there. And then add in some claws. And I'm not worried about his fur yet. Just want to get the body in there shaped correctly. Add in his toes. Add in the basic shape of the tail. Again, not worried about the fur. And hands can be kind of hard to draw. Mostly you just want to look at lots of reference, you know, get a camera, look on sites like DeviantArt for stock photos. There's lots of great reference on that site. Let's see. I like using little lines to represent where I'm going to have the fingers. I'm going to have him kind of clutching at the air here, showing off his nice sharp claws. Again, not worried about not being messy here. And if you have to erase and redraw something, that's totally okay. Doesn't have to be for perfect first thing you sketch. Make his hump back here a little bit bigger. Give him some hair coming down the front. There we go. Alright, I'm going to get rid of our initial sketch so we can just see the revised one. I'm going to flip it around again. Going to reduce the opacity. Again, you could just use tracing paper or light table. But again, I highly recommend Paint Tool Sai. You can also use GIMP or Photoshop. So many really great digital programs out there. Open Canvas. But Open Canvas and Sai are really awesome. They're also very inexpensive. Just going to sketch in his eyes here. Gonna make him mostly kind of round, so he looks more animalistic than human. And big eyebrow ridges. I'm gonna wrinkle up his nose a little bit, since he's kind of mean and snarly. Just kind of want to look at animal photos for how dogs kind of wrinkle their nose. Draw in his nose, put some nice big nostrils there. Put in his muzzle. And I'm being a little bit more careful now. But since I'm not inking, it's okay to be fairly loose with your lines. I'm going to start adding in some of the fur. Give him a nice big fluffy chin. Add in some really nice big snarly teeth. Add in his tongue. Add in his pupils, so he's kind of looking at the viewer there. And I'm going to start adding in the fluff on his head, because he's kind of angry, all his hair is kind of standing up. And draw in his nice big long ear. I like giving my werewolves nice big long ears, so they don't look like anthro wolves. Sometimes I like to tear their ears a little bit, since they're kind of monstery. Add in some kind of bat-like texture in there, a little bit of fur. A little bit of fur on this side of its head. Then add the cheek ruff. I like to kind of curve it so it looks a little bit more monstrous. Give him some eyebrows here. Nice and fluffy. Draw in his neck here. Give him some chest fluff. And then kind of the hair fluff from his neck. That's coming from his back. Making him extra bulky. Come in and add the fur on the back of his neck. Again, nice and fluffy. And a little bit extra detail of fluff. Okay, I'm going to zoom out here. I'm going to start sketching in his chest here. Add some muscle markings. He's nice and buff. Give him some nice abs. Give him some fluff down here so he doesn't have to wear any pants. I'm going to start giving him some muscles and fluff around the arm. I'm going to switch around because it's just easier for me to work in certain directions sometimes. I'm going to start sketching in his arm or his hand a little bit better. Nice big long claws. There you go. A little muscle mass there. There we go. And do his other shoulder. And do his bicep. I'm going to add in some more fluff here. Lots of fluff on the elbow. It kind of comes down to the arm itself. And do his other hand. And then some knuckles here. I'm only going to give him 3 fingers. It's easier. I'm lazy. And I'm going to start adding in the fluff for his tail here. And both legs are usually pretty fluffy on the underside, so I'm going to add lots of fluff there. Add in some claws for his toes. Re-emphasize his knees here a little bit. And a little bit of muscle definition here and there. You don't want to see too much muscle definition because really when there's a lot of fur and it's really fluffy, those kind of details kind of don't show up quite as defined. Add in some fluff on his legs here. Move his toes around a little bit here so they're a little bit more where they're supposed to be. And then some claws. Don't want to forget his little dew claw there. And there you go, we have a werewolf. Let me zoom back out here and take off the sketch layer. Flip it around again. And I think I'm happy with that. Let's add some grass. There we go. Woo! You can add a moon in the background. There's always moons around werewolves. Woo! There you go. And that is how you sketch a werewolf. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions or suggestions for future tutorials, please do not hesitate to contact me. You can email me at cybercatgraphics@yahoo.com, or you can leave a note for me here at YouTube, or of course visit me at lady-cybercat.deviantart.com. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.